Good evening. I'd like to call to order the Farmington Board of Education's regular meeting, September 15th, 2025. And we'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge of Allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I would like to make a motion to move item 11, report of the board chair, up to item 3.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed?
I'm abstaining.
So 7-0-2. That's all. We are in the part of the agenda which is referred to as the report of the chair. I want to address the recent post that appeared on my Facebook page Friday. I didn't post it. Sorry. Is this on?
Yeah.
It's not. Sorry. Mine's green. How about now? Any better?
Let me switch to a different microphone.
Test. 1, 2. Test.
You want this one back?
No, it's the output.
Andreas is also not turning green.
There we go.
Is this okay, everyone? Thank you. I'll start over. I want to address the recent post that appeared on my Facebook page on Friday. I didn't post it. The post does not reflect how I feel about Charlie Kirk's murder, and it was not my words. My heart goes out to his family and to his supporters, many of whom I know are in here this evening. I do not know how it got there. I have spent today working with IT professionals, and we'll get to the bottom of it. But let me be clear, it wasn't me. And there is nothing in my 20 years of service to this community to suggest that it could be me. We are clearly at an inflection point in our local and national life. It is becoming easier to hate someone than to respectfully disagree with them. We, as community leaders, need to rise above that. It is fitting that tonight we are in an elementary school, as it serves as a reminder that our children are watching us. So with that being said, I'm going to turn over the remainder of the moderation of this agenda item, the chair report, and public comment to Vice Chair Andrea Sabinski.
Just in response to Bill's statement, I wanted to read a statement that was sent out to the Farmington Public School community today. In case, and I just wanted it to be on the record for the community as well. Dear Farmington families, faculty, and staff, we are writing to our community to provide information on an incident that occurred on Friday, September 12th, 2025. Board of Education Chair Bill Beckert's personal Facebook feed included an inappropriate and offensive post from another individual's Facebook account. From that point, a link is included to Bill's statement that he sent to the media on September 13th. The statement continues, our hearts are with Charlie Kirk's loving family at this time of unimaginable loss and sorrow. As a Board of Education committed to serving our community with excellence and care, we condemn the targeted and unspeakable act of political violence and all acts of senseless violence that result in the loss of precious lives. This horrific act took place on a college campus, which is deeply distressing to us as we send our students off to college campuses across the country each year. At all times, schools and universities must be places of safety, care, and well-being. As a Board of Education, we serve as role models of civil discourse, open-mindedness, respect, and deep care for all people on behalf of our students and our community, a role we are honored to serve and take very seriously. The Farmington Board of Education has heard and understands the concerns and reactions we have received related to the social media post. We are stewards of the Farmington School District, and at all times we hold ourselves and one another accountable for promoting safety and care for all. As a Board of Education, we want to make it clear that we do not condone any messages, words, or actions that promote violence of any kind or minimize the loss of precious and beloved human lives. Sincerely, Andrea Sabinski, Vice Chair of Farmington Board of Education, and on behalf of the Farmington Board of Education. So I'd like to move on to the next.
Andre, I'd also like to say something.
Okay. Yeah.
Thanks, guys. I want to start by saying that what happened last week was absolutely horrific and tragic and continues a cycle of political violence that has no place in this country. Also troubling are the celebrations of the harm inflicted on political opponents. All of this needs to stop. The post that was shared on Bill's personal Facebook account that reflected the views of someone else was wrong, and I wholeheartedly disagree with this sentiment. However, once alerted to it, Bill took the post down, rightfully set the record straight about his feelings using his words. To me, his words and his lengthy record of service to this community should be all that matters. Bill Becker has been a dedicated public servant in the town of Farmington for 2 decades. He is a loving and devoted husband, father, a successful lawyer, and over the last 16 years has been a fierce advocate for our children in Farmington Public Schools. I'm proud to call him my friend. This board has historically been apolitical because that it is and what remains best for our children. We may disagree on policies or budgetary issues, but more often than not, we are on the same page in the oversight of our school district. The vicious, threatening, and clearly partisan language used toward Bill and his family in the last few days is beyond despicable. Let's work as a community to lower the temperature and keep politics away from this board and our children. Bill, you have my unwavering support. I look forward to continuing our work together for the betterment of our school district and our children's future. It's an honor to serve with you.
Thank you, James.
Sylvia?
Good evening, community members and board members. Today we stand at crossroads. Social media has become a powerful tool, a platform where voices can be amplified. Yet it also has a shadowy side. Hate speech on social media is rampant, and it's disheartening to see how easily we can hurt one another with our words. It is important to acknowledge that the Board of Education does not condemn hate speech on social media. We must recognize that our children are watching. They are absorbing everything we say and do. The words we choose to share can shape their understanding of the world. I urge each and one of you to reflect on this reality. What we post matters. Words have power. And in this digital age, the power is meaningful. Let us come together to focus on what matters most, our children. They deserve a safe environment where they can learn and grow without fear of being targeted. Imagine a world where social media feeds are filled with messages of kindness, respect, and understanding. A world where we uplift one another instead of tearing each other down. It can be our reality if we choose to lead by example. So let us make a conscious effort to promote positivity and compassion in our online interaction. Let us teach our children that their words matter, that kindness can change the world. Together, we can turn our social media platforms into spaces of hope and inspiration. Let this be our lesson learned. Thank you.
I just wanted to say, so I had a whole speech prepared as of 45 minutes ago. I thought the only time we were going to be able to speak as a board on this was during public comment. So part of my frustration with this whole issue has been a bit of lack of transparency amongst the board in terms of how we were proceeding. Just so I think the public knows, because I do think it's important, we as a board are directed to not respond to any emails that come to us regarding any issues. We are told to forward them to the central office. I did exactly as I was told in this case, and I forwarded everything I received to the central office. I then requested, so just so everyone knows, so the public knows, because I wouldn't have known this before I was on the board, as a meeting happens, it follows Robert's Rules of Orders. We as a board are not allowed to speak on a topic unless it's on the agenda. Therefore, I asked those who set the agenda if we can make it an agenda item, as I felt like it was very important for the community to discuss the topic that's been all over the news. We were getting several emails about it, all over Facebook posts. I had not heard anything back on any of my communication. I then heard that I would be able to speak via a public comment, so I had prepared a statement. 45 minutes ago, I was then told that the chair report would be moved and that the floor would be open for me to then address the topic now. Anyone that knows me knows that I take my responsibilities in this position very seriously, along with all my other family obligations. I have 3 young kids. I work a full-time job. I don't like to be unprepared to things, and I feel like given 45 minutes notice of when an agenda item is coming up or what I'm able to speak or not speak does not give me sufficient time. That being said, I'm giving you the background now. I'll pick up from my public comment that I was going to make in regards to this issue. But I felt that context was important for the public to hear. I'm actually not here to defend or really comment on anyone's social media posts. I've always spoken for myself on this board, and I will continue to do so. The killing of Charlie Kirk was a blatant act of political violence. I admire Charlie's intelligence, articulation, love for God, country, and family, and ability to successfully and peacefully debate his views, something I strive to do. I do not condone anyone who supports the killing of another human life or the celebration of such a horrific act or any social media posts with similar content. Those that make such negative posts, and I think there are multiple people here, should defend their own beliefs and values to you as elected officials. As a minority member of this board, please know for anything to get passed as a motion must be made and voted on by either a majority or supermajority for the motion to pass. Majority members of this board must be aligned on an overall objective for anything to happen or any action to take place. So while my feelings on this issue are apparent, if constituents want any type of action, I would look to the party that has a majority on the board, as they will set the agendas for this and all future meetings. In the meantime, as a board, I hope we can move forward collectively, prioritizing communication, transparency, and a betterment of all of Farmington's residents. Thank you.
So while I am in full support of my colleagues in the killing, the sadness of Charlie Kirk, I was waiting until While I was waiting to hear public comment, we were given the opportunity to speak now. Regardless of how the image was posted, inadvertently or not, as a leader of our board, the responsibility to make the decision serves in the best interest of our students and community. Until then, this issue will remain a distraction. We have a superintendent search to begin again. It is time to determine what the best course of action is for our families and community. My recommendation is for Bill to step down as board chair to avoid further distraction to our families, community, and this board as a whole, and that we look holistically at how we are posting, how things get out social media, because I do, in my heart, feel terrible for what his family is going through. So that is my sentiment.
Beth?
So I prepared my statement with the hope of having the floor during the chair report earlier today as well. So there have been some further developments. I'm not sure that I'm going to get into that, but I think actually looking at what I've prepared kind of touches on that. I absolutely agree that we need to avoid distraction on this board so we can get the work of the board done in serving the Farmington Public Schools. But first, to the issue at hand in terms of the social media posts that showed up on Bill's account, I don't want to get into the question of whether or not our chair meant to share the post that people saw. I don't think that's a productive path. I mean, there may be something that they can find out on the technology side. What I notice is there are a lot of people telling us what Bill meant by sharing this post. And I can't even determine what he meant by that, if he was, if he shared it. I've known him for just about 20 years, but no one knows what he meant or what that post meant. Many people have shared what they think this post meant, but they don't even know Bill. So for me, in trying to process all of this, I'm looking back on the 20 plus years that I've known Bill. When our two oldest children attended preschool together is when we met. So I got to know Bill as a parent first, and then became aware of his public service, and eventually we were both serving together as elected officials and had that in common, and I've known him very well and served with him since. I've always known Bill to be a caring, fair, and extremely dedicated public servant, as well as father to his children and husband to his wife. I think what we ultimately need to consider in all this is the steady leadership he's provided this board as chair and prior to becoming chair, along with all the time and hard work he's given so generously over the past 20 years, serving the town in various capacities and not just in elected office. His dedication and devotion to Farmington and its people is undeniable. He's always worked hard to be collaborative across the aisle, and that goes for this at this table, in partnership with the town council and in the community, and that's to the benefit of residents, students, families, and our entire town. Bill spends time talking to people about their concerns. He truly listens, and he considers both sides of the issues. This is what we need and we want in our town leadership. And this is what we need to consider also in how we react to this situation, public officials, residents, all of us. I think we really need to stop and be careful about being swayed by the politics and the opportunities that present themselves when controversies like this come up. Let's do better than taking advantage of a situation and dismissing the important traits that are at the core of what someone like Bill brings to the Board of Education, and especially as chair to the Board of Ed. It's this taking advantage of the opportunity for political gain that really upsets me in all of this, because this is where we are now in Farmington. Not a lot of people understand what it takes to be a public servant, but Bill has shown the sacrifice, and he truly does understand what it takes to be a true public servant, and Farmington is better because of it. I do not support him stepping down from the chairship or the board. I think that would be perhaps a bigger distraction and a kind of a gotcha thing as we go into campaign season, which is, it's an unfortunate timing of this, but I think it's also the timing of this around campaign season that explains a lot of how people are handling their reaction to it.
So, I don't have the gavel. I was just going to ask people to I was just going to ask if everybody could refrain from clapping or shouting out, just so that everybody gets a chance to speak and be heard. Okay, thank you. Erica?
Can you hear me now? Yeah. Okay. Thank you, everybody, for coming, and thank you for this opportunity to say a few words. As a proud member of this Board of Education, each of us on this board are fierce advocates for every student in our district. Advocacy is not about who speaks the loudest, it is about who we listen to. And as a board, we are committed to listening to parents, to teachers, to staff, and especially to the students themselves. We are a diverse community. We come from different backgrounds, cultures, experiences, and perspectives. Let me be clear, we don't have to agree on everything to stand together for our students. Healthy debate, different viewpoints, and tough conversations are part of the process. But But at the end of the day, we, as the Farmington Board of Education, need to remain united by our oath and our promise to prepare our students not just for graduation, but for life, for careers, for colleges, for citizenship, for adulthood. We, as a Board of Ed, need to lead with compassion, to listen deeply, and to work together again, even when we do not agree. Our community's strength and the strength of this board is found in its differences. And our students' success depends on our ability, this board's ability, to act with courage, even when it is hard, even when we don't agree. We need to move forward with our students at the center. Thank you.
Anybody else?
So we skipped over actually an item which we kind of removed from the agenda, recognition of the Teacher of the Year and the Staff Member of the Year. I'd like a motion to table those recognitions to the October meeting. Can I get a motion? Second. Discussion. Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Abstaining? Okay, all right. So that would be 801. Okay, next item on the agenda, item 5, approval of minutes. Approval of the minutes of the June 2nd, 2024 BOE regular meeting. It's not on. Here.
Hello?
there
It's
you
on now, okay. Motion?
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Can I get a motion for the approval of the minutes of the June 17th, 2024 BOE special meeting?
Motion?
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Abstain? Okay,
So Erica and Angela abstaining.
apologies. Okay, consideration of the superintendent's report. Kathy?
So before we get started, I wanted to recognize 4 very important partners to the Farmington schools who are here this evening. The first person is Paul Melanson, who is returning to Farmington as our Director of Public Safety. We welcome him back, we missed him, and we're just so thrilled that he's returned home. So, yeah. In addition, Corey Vincent, who has been overseeing our SROs, has been promoted to captain. So we want to congratulate Corey and thank him for his service to our school district. Officer Tony Ruggiero, and I just call, usually it's like, hi, Tony. And Nash are also here, and we just love having Nash and Tony in our schools every day. So thank you for being here. And lastly, I want to introduce Matt Keepin, who's taking the lieutenant position supervising our SRO. So congratulations, Matt, and welcome. All right, so our next report is the school opening report, and we had an excellent convocation celebration. It was really a celebration of Farmington, and we had a theme called We Are Farmington, a tradition of leading the way. The next slide just gives you an overview of the report. We welcome 35 new faculty members to the Farmington Public Schools due to retirements, resignations, leaves, and new positions this school year. Our preliminary enrollment is 4,020, but that's just the first day of school, and you'll be provided a more detailed report on October 1st enrollment and projections for the next year. So we were off to a great start, and I just want to thank everyone who worked so hard, our administrators, our teachers, our staff, everyone working to prepare our schools for the start of the school year. I'll also just say that we had a smooth opening across all schools, including transportation services. So that is a great celebration. And we also really, I have to say to Dan and the whole team, when it comes to elementary enrollment shifts, we had our elementary ad hoc committee, we had our recommendations, and our principals, led by Dan and so many others, Sam and Matt, and there were just so many people involved in that process, and we had a very, very smooth opening with students shifting schools. So I will now look to Dan to go right into the elementary enrollment and how all of that went.
Yeah, the elementary enrollment. All right, I'll try that again. Right. So back in, I believe it was 2023, the elementary ad hoc committee purpose was to review enrollment projections, assess overall utilization of the elementary school facilities, and identify options a district could implement to balance enrollment across the facilities. So that was back from the ad hoc. As you can see, we went to the implementation for the beginning of this year, and through just the grade level, the enrollment distribution, you can see we're much more evenly across the 4 schools, across there. So really been able to kind of meet that goal, and so credit a lot of the work to the committee for putting that plan in place. The pre-K transition to Westwoods has also been very smooth. We just completed the playscape. We'll show you in the facilities report there. The no walls pre-K classrooms retrofitted to now becoming, elementary grade level classrooms. The bus routes were adjusted pretty seamlessly. And then with the smaller enrollment and then a new parking circle that we'll share once again in the facilities report, you could see some of that traffic congestion over at East Farm, especially in the morning. So that's really helped out there. So, as Kathy had mentioned, really want to thank the principals, Carrie Huber, Nicole Vibert, Katie Bloor, for all of their work during this transition. They had to do a lion's share of that. Brian Zario, who's here, and their team for the successful pre-K transition to Westwoods. Big shout out to Sam and Matt for, once again, operational side, moving equipment, furniture, getting rooms ready, a variety of logistical challenges. And also want to give a shout out on the town side to Russ Arnold, Jimmer's Basin. They were really instrumental into that East Farms parking loop. And so just really the ability for to have in Farmington where the Board of Ed and the town side kind of working together in support of the Farmington students is really a special thing. So I'm very appreciative of their work on that. So like I said, it's been pretty smooth from a lot of hard work from a lot of good people. So I don't know if there's any questions.
And the next agenda, this pushing the button, I have to get used to, is our school facility summer maintenance and building repairs update. And Sam is here, as well as Dan, to go over the projects. This is an impressive presentation. And again, it is a partnership between the town and the board to fund all of these projects and keep our schools in, tip-top condition. And so I'll just invite.
Yeah, I'm going to have Sam come up. Sam's going to kind of be, I guess, like the Ryan Seacrest now. I used to say that, the Pat Sajak. I'll do a little bit more of the Vanna with the slides and some of the pictures. So I'll just be he's going to kind of talk about a lot of the projects. I'm going to kind of scroll through so you can kind of just see what's there. So thanks, Sam, for all of his hard work this summer.
Thank you. So I feel like we had a very successful summer. In your agenda packet, you really do have to speak closer. In your agenda packet, you have a list of all our summer projects, which also indicates the status of each of them. In the interest of time, I was planning on being brief. Given how late it is, I'll try to be even briefer here. At the end, if you have any questions about any particular project, we'd be glad to go further into detail on any of them. So honestly, I could spend my entire time here just talking about the routine work that's listed at the top of the handout that you have. I can share photos with you of every single corridor in the district filled floor to ceiling with furniture so that we can clean every room, ceiling to floor, and then clean the furniture as we return it back to the room. It's an enormous task, just that part of that routine work that we do. So as always, I'd just like to start with a big thank you to all our summer helpers, our cleaners, custodians, supervisors, maintenance people, and our head custodians for all that they do every summer and throughout the school year. So our biggest project this year was the Westwoods roof. I'm happy to report that we were substantially complete by August 15th, which was the contractual deadline. Despite some delays that we had in material deliveries at the beginning of the summer, they had the appropriate amount of people on site to be able to make use of an abbreviated summer after those delays. So currently, punch list work is ongoing. That includes edge metal, flashings, some roof seams. We anticipate that will be done by the end of this week. Following that, we'll have a final inspection with the architect and the Farmington team. And following that, we'll have a warranty inspection from the roofing manufacturer. And at this point, I would anticipate we'll be back in November probably to ask you to approve the project as complete so we can ask for reimbursement. So while Westwoods had finally a break from all the busy summer schedule that it usually sees, we were able to address a number of interior projects there as well, including classroom painting, network wiring, and the plumbing that you see here to lower fixtures for the incoming pre-K students. Throughout the district, we had a number of other impactful projects inside each building, including cabinetry at East Farms and Noah Wallace. But perhaps the most noticeable work was on our grounds. So that included school signs at Irving Robbins, East Farms, Noah Wallace, and West District, and also Union on the right there. Landscaping work, several buildings throughout the district, most notably probably East Farms, as you see there in the courtyard area, Westwoods, and also Noah Wallace, most prominently Noah Wallace, if you've been there. I don't know how I forgot that one. In addition to that, Dan also already mentioned a lot of the playscape work that's happened, not just the playscape for the pre-K, that you'll see a photo of that as well, but really Public Works did an enormous job working on the playground surfacing at Union, Westwoods, and also Noah Wallace there as well. And we're hoping that also addresses a lot of drainage issues that we've had at each of those.
We're also, just so you know, they're also looking to put some of the mulch at West District at East Farms, just they hadn't gotten to it there, so they're looking actually at the upcoming break for the Jewish holiday to be able to kind of get in there and put some mulch into those schools, just so that, you know, they all get kind of like a refresher.
And obviously, with playscapes as well, the town's also been working on repairing and replacing pieces of equipment based on our inspection report that we received early in the summer as well.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
So we're actually hoping that a lot of the work that the town did this summer, where we were pulling all the mulch, old mulch out, digging down towards the drainage, we're actually hoping that that helps with that situation as well. There are other products out there. They're a lot more expensive. They're more difficult to repair, and you're looking at a capital project every 7 to 8 years as well to replace them.
Yeah, they did, for Noah Wallace and Union, they did really kind of like a deep, where they kind of almost took out all the old mulch, right, and try to kind of clear up some of the draining. Just once again, time and those being very labor intensive, you know, sometimes you can't get the Bobcat in there, and so, you know, it's just a lot of manual shoveling and getting stuff over there. The West District and East Farms really is looking at more of just kind of like, for lack of better words, topping off and getting some, but with the goal being going back this summer and doing that kind of deep, you know, clear out all the old stuff and just put some fresh mulch on there. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and just, you know, so we also had the, you know, the building projects through Extension. Central office is complete. We moved in there through the summer. I'm really excited about that new space and the conference room, and it's really been wonderful to see people utilizing it, right? We're seeing some you know, group and some training, some PMT trainings there, so it's really kind of nice to see it become alive and have it serve its purpose in giving staff, you know, space just to kind of do some of that work. Once again, an extension of that, this is the locker room area that's been completed. There was a girls' locker room, that's the football locker room. That was at like 95% completion. And then, once again, the new bleachers and press box, as hopefully many of you guys have seen. So that's, you know, also at the substantial completion point. So just really, like I said, a lot of great projects. You know, we felt really good about a lot of things that were accomplished at the schools this summer. So I don't know if anyone has any questions.
Not a question, but I just want to say I went to go to the football game the last
Thursday.
last week, and I was just so impressed with the bleachers and then the paved path along the. It just looks so really nice. It's such a really good job, and you know, and we've driven by the signs for the schools. I think that we drove by, and of course, my youngest one no longer have a West District, so we aged out of the elementary school. But he's like, they got a new sign. Did you see the sign? He saw the tiger, and it just looked really nice and everything. So, just really good job. I think we all should be very proud, and you know, and seeing the bleachers and seeing the great work of each of the schools. I just think it looks really nice. So, good job.
Thank you.
Yeah, I agree. Just in my area being near IAR and East Farms, like it's just a nice, refreshing
Yes.
to older buildings and the signs I love. So
Great.
cross one where the athletic fields are.
Yeah.
So I'm sure a lot of questions.
Yeah.
All set? Okay. So our next report, Veronica will provide, and actually Eric is here as well, our new Director of Curriculum and Instruction, our summer curriculum work.
Good evening, members of the Board of Education. So we had provided a report in the packet that outlines the many curriculum projects that were undertaken this summer, largely revisions to, or in some cases, writing of new curriculum maps to align with courses that had previously been piloted and approved by the Board of Education. Maybe in a change from previous years, I included a brief description of what each of those projects was. So I'm happy to answer any questions about any curriculum revisions or update work before I get into the next 3 slides, if the board had any questions about curriculum projects. Correct. So depending on the scope of the project, most of our projects are parsed out so that they're half completed over the summer, and then they're reviewed once we come back in the fall, and then that work continues for the remainder of the school year. So what's needed for the first half of the school year is completed over the summer. It's reviewed, teachers are given feedback, and then given the green light to proceed with finishing the writing or to continue with any necessary revisions to the summer work. And all of that work is supervised by myself in coordination with our department leads and specialists. All right, so just to quickly kind of take you through the next 3 slides, and this will also speak to the summer professional development that comprised the Summer Institute, which is, that comes up later in our staff appointments reports. So we're really focusing this year on something we call task-centric instructional design and leadership. And really what the diagram shows you is that if you look at, you know, how our system is informed on our teaching and learning side, the vision of the global citizen informs our why. It's the center of everything that we do. The texts on the left are just a representative sample of some of the powerful ideas that inform our what. or the theory that guides our work. And the framework of teaching and learning, which is not pictured here because we don't have a clean graphic for it, informs the how, or the explicit ways that our teachers design instructional tasks that engage our students. And we're really looking to provide our teachers, in alignment with our framework for teaching and learning, more explicit practices around how to design engaging and compelling learning tasks. And for our instructional leaders, how to recognize when we're seeing engaging and compelling learning tasks in classrooms and provide the right level of feedback to take tasks to the next level. So we can go on to the next slide. So why focus on task when we're entering learning spaces? We're very fond of a Harvard educational researcher, very famous in the field, Richard Elmore. He came to Farmington, I believe, unfortunately before my time here, but a bit of a rock star. He unfortunately has since passed on, but his research lives. And really the hallmark of Richard Elmore's research is the instructional core, which posits the idea that all learning is an interaction between the teacher, the student, and the content. But at the heart of that core is the instructional task. And really something that we hang our hat on in Farmington is that task predicts performance. And this is the idea that our students will only rise to the bar that the task establishes for them. So if we want our students thinking deeply, engaging deeply, learning deeply, and again in alignment with our VOGC and with our framework for teaching and learning, then we have to develop tasks that provide them those opportunities. And that's really what we're focused on. Next slide. And so when we talk about task-centric instructional design and leadership, again, always guided by our VOGC and framework for teaching and learning, we're really focused on three things: universal design for learning. How do we put the right environmental conditions in place for all learners to engage with our tasks with access and agency? We're looking really, really carefully and taking a deep dive into a book called Powerful Task Design, which almost serves like a playbook to guide teachers on the difficult design work of taking all this theory and actualizing it in really meaningful learning tasks for students. And collaboration is such a key lever in our VOGC. We want to make sure that when we ask students to collaborate, that that's really purposeful collaboration, and so we turn to the work of Jennifer Gonzalez and others to really help us understand how do we create conditions for purposeful collaboration. And that goes from everything from psychological safety to making sure that the collaboration we're asking students to do is task dependent, meaning that our learners couldn't accomplish the tasks we set before them without the collaboration we're asking them to engage in together. So that's a little bit of kind of our approach to professional learning along the lines of teaching and learning this year. It's guiding our work in curriculum development. It was really the focus of our Summer Institute. We're doing this work together as a DLC. We're doing it in our curriculum coordinating committee. We're getting this work down to the level of our teachers and explicit practices, all with the singular goal of improving student learning experience all the time. Happy to field any questions about that.
Okay, thank you
very much.
The next report is our summer school programming report, and Veronica and our Excel director, Brian Zario, are here.
So I'll just invite, really,
Brian.
Brian's going to cover it.
Yeah, so thank you. So every January I take off my Excel director hat and I put on my Summer Learning Academy coordinator hat. And we meet with a small group in January, and then that group just gets bigger, bigger, bigger. Sorry, I watched about 45 people talk on this and I still can't get it right here. So this summer, I just wanted to highlight really how many students we serviced over the summertime. 1,200 total students, and that includes academic, extended school year, 582 students. That reflects mostly the month of July. Excel Camp, we had 253 students, and then really big numbers this summer was enrichment and academies, which include all of the arts, strings, band camp, theater, had 402 students. And really, we're reaching pre-K through 12th grade. So, I mean, again, I'd like to just thank everybody that it takes to put together a summer program, from HR, custodian staff, door monitors, security monitors, everybody. It just takes, the group really comes together, and I'm lucky enough to work with a bunch of amazing professionals. I'd be happy to answer any questions anyone has.
So Brian, I just wanted to say, he puts together this report, and you can just see that the summertime is just a bustling, busy time, and so you can see that. I just love that you list all the people who are involved in it, because it really takes so many people to run that. So, thanks for putting, all that detail in there so that all the right people can get the recognition they deserve for pulling that off. And it's like starting a whole new school in the summer where, HR, like you said, and payroll and all of that, it's like starting all over again for the summer. So
Tell everybody about this night and no one comes. I would love to just say, please stand up.
The other thing I wanted to highlight too is that this summer you also took in many of our students who attend our schools from Hartford, and they were able to be part of the program. So that was due to a grant that we received, and so that was a nice addition to our program. So thank you for that too.
Yeah, no problem. That was great. Kristen Weiler and Amanda Machad wrote a really great grant for the summertime. Usually we have students from Hartford join us just for the academic extended day, but we were able to reach out to other students for that extended care in 2 weeks in August, which was really great. And the families really enjoyed it.
Was that you at the top of that playscape picture? Was that you?
Yes, it was.
Sorry, Erica got a question. Sorry, I'm a little out of it.
Sorry, can I ask, I do have a question about what you said about the kids from Hartford. So was that the first time we've done that?
No, every summer for the past, since I've been part of this program for 20 years, we've always had open choice students extend their day when we offer the academics, so SEA, ESY, and that's mostly for 4 weeks in July. This year we were able to extend that.
That's wonderful. And how did the transportation work for that, for students?
So that was part of the grant.
That was part of the grant?
Yep. And we actually, for many years, what was great about this grant was usually we only targeted kids who needed that academic. This year, we were able to service those students during July for extended day until 4. But those last 2 weeks of the summer, we were able to reach out to families, students who did not need that extra academic support.
That's just wonderful. I just think that, especially with our kids that are not necessarily living within our district, and keeping them connected, right, for that longer period of time is just so critical. So hopefully I think you said it was through a grant, so I'm not sure if there is a reapplication for it, but highly encourage us to continue to do that, because that's just wonderful, keeps them engaged.
Right.
Yes.
I just also wanted to comment, I think it's wonderful that a lot of the high school students have the opportunity to work and volunteer in the program.
Yeah,
Many of the
I say this every year, but I want to get them up here for some kind of announcement, or just to be recognized, because it is tough to be a high school senior or a high school junior working academics, sports, and they really make up a big part of our team.
Yeah, they also serve as role models, for the younger students.
Anybody else? Thank you, Brian. But you know how much I appreciate all you do. You know that.
Have a wonderful evening.
Thank you.
So this report is a new report. It's a requirement from the state that through the last legislative session, we were communicated over the summer, and we really want to thank Steve Netko for putting this together so quickly. And this is the community-based organizations, extended learning opportunities, and really impressive report, Steve. So we'll start with your first slide and just some overview of the many amazing things going on when it comes to community-based organizations and really preparing our students for the workforce.
Thank you very much. Can you hear me okay? Thank you to the Board of Education for the opportunity to share what we do at the Career Center at FHS. And thank you to Superintendent Greeter and Assistant Superintendents Ruzick and Zatoun for the opportunity as well. Am I doing something wrong here, Matt? No? Okay. So I wrote up a bunch of stuff, but I'd probably just try and riff a little bit off of what I have on here. And it's my bedtime now, so I hope it makes sense. But I have the VOGC up here, and that's because I really do believe that the work that we do in the Career Center strongly aligns with pretty much every aspect of the VOGC. Big picture, like what we try to do through the experiences that we provide that I'll talk on the next about on the next few slides, is try to help students learn about themselves by engaging with the world both inside of school and outside of school. And that gives them opportunities to work with a wide range of individuals out in the community as engaged collaborators. And we do provide a lot of opportunities for students to be civic-minded contributors by volunteering and giving back to the community. And I will say, it looks like Brian left, but one big oversight in this presentation is not having Excel up here. I kind of debated it in my head because it is kind of a part of the Farmington public school system, but they really are a huge partner in what we do and provide a lot of volunteer opportunities and paid employment for Farmington High School students. So I work with a lot of Excel employees very closely in providing these opportunities. So I just wanted to give a shout out to Excel for that. So I've kind of organized these slides around a continuum of work-based learning that a workforce development organization called ReadyCT has provided. And that ranges from awareness to exploration and preparation. And so I thought it would make sense to kind of use that as a framework for talking about some of the experiences and activities that the Career Center provides. The first, so awareness is about just helping to expose students about the broad range of careers and jobs that are out there in the community. And so, if you wouldn't mind going back to that previous slide there. During the last school year, we did 17 trips to community partners that allowed students to explore careers in the fields of healthcare, finance, marketing, construction trades, engineering, sports management, automotive technology, manufacturing, and data analytics. And these trips gave students opportunities to see workplaces firsthand, talk with professionals about their careers, and in some cases, directly experience work in a particular field. And then we also would bring in professionals and organizations to FHS to talk with students about different career areas, and in some cases organize hands-on demonstrations and activities for students to experience work in that field. So I wasn't able to get a good picture of it, but we had the surgical technology program from Hartford Healthcare come in, and students got to experience like putting on scrubs and kind of doing that whole thing and play with the instruments that the surgeons use. So it was a really cool experience. So it's really all about kind of exposing students to those opportunities that are available out there. So on the next slide is where we get into some of the exploration activities. And these are meant to give students an opportunity to kind of dive deeper into a job or a career area of interest to learn more about it. So career counseling, I think, kind of fits into all of the different categories that I have up there, but I felt like it was a good middle ground here. But in terms of career counseling, I met with students throughout the course of last school year, and I had more than 270 individual meetings with students to talk things through like resume building, finding extended learning opportunities to gain meaningful experience, and in some cases just figuring out what their career interests are. And a couple of highlights of this work were helping some students secure apprenticeships with local construction companies and helping a few students enroll in the automotive technology program through CT State Community College. And I partnered really closely with the school counseling department in this work and connected students with professionals throughout the career counseling process to help them kind of learn about all the different careers that are out there. Job shadows are a little bit more difficult to come by for high school students just
due to some age restrictions and things like that, but we were still able to get some good opportunities for students. We had 19 students participate in the Connecticut Judicial Branch Job Shadow Program and had a handful of students shadow doctors and other healthcare professionals during the school year. And then, as I mentioned, we regularly connect students with volunteer opportunities in the community that allow them to explore potential career areas of interest. We have, since I've been here, hundreds of students volunteer at local hospitals to gain exposure to the medical field as an example of that. And so some organizations that regularly host student volunteers are Farmington Land Trust, Farmington Libraries, Hartford Healthcare, and UConn Health. And on the next slide, get a little bit into the preparation work of the work-based learning continuum. This is where students are diving into work that allows them to develop the knowledge and skills to succeed in different career areas of interest. And again, internships are a little bit more difficult to come by for high school students, but we're still able to get 15 students to participate in the Cutting Edge program at UConn Health to gain hands-on laboratory experience. We had 3 students participate in a research internship with the Department Chair of Computer Science at Central Connecticut State University. 3 students did an IT internship with a company called V-Link. We had 6 students participate in the Junior Achievement Entrepreneurial Academy at Stanley Black & Decker, and 1 student participated in a law-focused internship with Claggett, Sykes, and Garza here in Farmington. And then I did a bunch of mock interviews with students throughout the year to help them prepare for real job interviews that they had, and I partnered closely with the Academic Methods class at the high school for that, coached students through the process of finding and applying for part-time jobs, like with Farmington Excel. Also hosted some professional networking events at the school to help students develop their interpersonal and networking skills. We had 20 professionals, including Erica, participate in the Capstone networking event along with 62 Capstone students last year. And then we had 33 professionals, including Sylvie, and 56 students participate in a business and nonprofit open house at the high school last year where students had an opportunity to do some open networking. And I taught some lessons and workshops leading up to those events so that students were prepared with the skills to effectively communicate with professionals. And then also held a series of professional skills workshops throughout last year, which was kind of a new addition to our programming based on some of the areas that I saw students could work on as it comes to email communication, face-to-face interaction, all of those types of things. And a total of 207 students participated in those workshops during the course of last year. And then on the last slide here is just a sample of the community partners that supported all of the work that was discussed on the previous slide. This is not an exhaustive list. It's really meant to kind of highlight some of the businesses and nonprofits in town that supported a lot of the work. And so just a big thank you goes out to everyone in the community who supports the work that we do through the Career Center and providing these opportunities for Farmington High School students, because that type of learning wouldn't be possible without the support of these community partners. So thank you all for that, and I'm happy to answer any questions you have.
Pretty thorough.
Yeah, great. No wonder why your bedtime is like before now. You're you're tired from all this work. But I think a really important part of the work that we do, particularly with high school students, although other students as well, trying to, build up this, this awareness, exploration, preparation with them, is that we're always trying to motivate our students. And one of the things that we know is key to motivation is purpose. And so trying to link students to like a purpose, like what's the purpose of your learning, and someday look at this exciting career or this exciting, line of work that you could be engaged in the future, is really a great way for us to really engage students. So thanks for all that you do. It's a lot.
And I think the legislators, often require different reports to kind of push districts to do more. And this was a pretty easy report. I mean, it was lengthy, but an easy report because we're doing so much workforce readiness. And, Steve's leading that work, so it's just impressive to see it and really a celebration of everything that's been accomplished over the years. So great job.
Thank you.
Yeah. I was just going to add, your presentation, oh, sorry.
I put it on.
Okay, thank you. Absolutely excites me, and I would want to go back to school because this is like the diversity of jobs and opportunities and really getting the students involved to get ready for the next chapter in their life is so super important. So I thank you for putting this all together, and I read all the content. It's awesome. Like, we are very fortunate, so thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, just piggybacking off of that, totally agree with what Nadine just said. Also, combining this with the career pathways that we have in FHS and even before that. My daughter's going to be in FHS next year. I'm going to have a heart attack. But this is very exciting, knowing that what she's going to be walking into and the opportunities that she's going to have to learn and figure out her path. Just fantastic work.
Tell her to come down to the Career Center.
And just one more note that I want to add, just that probably was last year when we came to talk to you about school links and how we use school links as sort of the career pathway from when they're younger. So this all connects. So this is like school links from the younger grades, starting the career exploration, what are you interested in? And then it sort of culminates in more of these kinds of experiences as they get older.
And I'm not sure, I'd have to go back and look at the criteria around the state of Connecticut's summer youth employment programs and sort of the eligibility for maybe some of our students to participate. So for example, at my work site, I take on every summer 2 young high school students. And they could come from anywhere in the state. And then the agreement is that those municipalities or those communities pay for their hourly rate while I offer them a work site in the field that I do in policy development and so forth. And so, I just wondered if we've looked into that and again, I don't know what are the criteria is to qualify for it or to be part of it, but it's also another great opportunity for whether it be Farmington kids or Hartford kids who may have the opportunity opportunity to be able to be engaged to the Connecticut Summer Youth Employment Project.
Yeah, we've definitely had some students participate in that. I believe that's through Capital Workforce Partners.
Yes.
Yeah, in our local area here, so they've been a good partner in that.
But I'm a former workforce development professional with adults, young adults, so this is near and dear to my heart, and to know that this is happening with students in high school is really great. Great to see it all laid out. So thank you for the time you must have put into getting all your work down into a presentation. I just had a question about the students that you serve. Do they self-select, or how is that?
It's a little bit of both. There's definitely a percentage that self-select and come down to see me. But then I also partner closely with the school counselors and with different programs in the school, like special education, AVID, the alternatives high school, to make sure that we're also reaching the students that would not voluntarily come to see me, I guess, or come on their own. So I regularly try to make that a part of my work so that we are reaching those students who wouldn't come down and get these services otherwise.
I just have one comment. Off yours. So, because my daughter's in the high school and she's definitely benefited from what you've put together. And you have a Google Classroom, right, where you list things?
Yes.
Because I've had many screenshots. Mom, can I do this? Can I do this? Does this work with my schedule?
Opposite problem. That's probably why you could.
But I just wanted to say that like the opportunities are from, just a little bit to a longer commitment. And I think you've offered such a variety of opportunities, and she's tried things that like she normally wouldn't do. And I can just give one example. She took on a part-time job dog walking this summer. She worked it into her schedule because she's got other things going on. But I think the thing that came out of it is she's dog walking for a woman who lives in an assisted living facility, and how that's expanded her her awareness of what that is, you know, when somebody ages is in an assisted living facility, what that looks like, and what their experiences are, and also the connection with the dog, how important that dog was to her, and she couldn't walk the dog anymore. So, I mean, she continues to do it while she's in school now, too. They text each other, and she works it out. And then the other thing was she took on a volunteer opportunity to do gardening within the town. So I had to laugh because I was like, you've never like weeded or anything in our own yard. But, but you know, again, it's trying something new that you might not have done. And I just think it's great.
I love to hear that, thank you, because that really is the goal, is trying new things, seeing what you like, seeing what you don't like, and then I like to use that for a basis for conversation with students to figure out what their plans are going to be post-high school, so that's great. Thank you.
Bill needed to walk away or take away from the table, so I think.
So we'll go to the next. Yep. So the professional staffing report, Veronica will provide a really quick overview of where we are when it comes to professional staffing.
Say going last is great because really everything's already, if you've seen the report, I think that everything's already been reported on. So I'll just say a few key things. First of all, I think you got the idea that the summer is a very active time. And so that was true in hiring, although I will say if you looked at the timeline there, that starts very early. So very early, we're doing all the recruiting and all of that. So we were able to successfully hire 34 professionals who I think are great assets to the district. We were able to work with them and meet with them during their new teacher orientation, which is a 2-day orientation for all new teachers, and just got a really great sense about this cohort and this incoming group of teachers. Those ones that are still on an initial certification will now also be part of our team program, so they'll be set up with a formal mentor. The rest of them have informal mentors, but they'll have a formal mentor and go through that process. I won't highlight, I think Eric already covered all of our curriculum work, so we're busy with that, but busy with the summer programs. And then just very quickly on professional development, I just want to say that both certified and non-certified teachers have some time in the summer before school starts to learn about the goals for the year and any of the sort of focus areas that we're working on. And so we developed that really as a DLC through multiple vertical team retreats during the summer. We plan our DLC retreats collaboratively, and then that's how we really sort of, you know, it sort of filters down. So a great example of it, I just want to highlight because I just thought the West District presentation was just awesome. But that really starts with the planning in the summer. We're able to then, at our retreat, we did a whole thing on intentions, asset-based, and I just liked how she called it superpowers. We didn't call it superpowers, but just about, you know, the asset-based lens and bringing that to every child. And then you can just see how that then impacts what we do there. You can see clearly that that's what the school's working on and the teachers are working on. They set their own intentions for the year. The students set their intentions for the year. And so that's really how the system is designed, that the work we do in the summer really carries through, and then it's formalized in our school development plans, which you'll see at an upcoming board meeting. So anyway, I think that sometimes it's like, you know, summer seems so long and everyone's like, oh, how was your summer? I'm like, it was so fast. There's all these things that have to happen in the summer. And so that was just that report is just a summary of many of the things that you've heard from everyone else who's been involved in summer work. We have one vacancy that I'm hoping is going to be filled tomorrow. And,
But that one's being covered by certified teachers.
but
in
it's
district.
already, but it's not a vacancy, it's not that it's not being covered.
Yeah,
It's being covered by certified teachers at the time, but we are still looking. Yeah, but.
So our deeper learning updates, I'll just invite you and our community to review these exciting updates. There are some fabulous pictures in there, but even more importantly, just celebrating the work that our students are doing and some of the opening day routines that we have to welcome students back.
Next on the agenda is item 7, unfinished business. Budget impact, budget update.
So we're still, obviously early in the year, so everything is on track with budget. The one impact to kind of share at this point was we found that the kindergarten enrollment was below kind of where the projections were across, and it kind of, sometimes you just get good breaks in different pieces. And so it kind of balanced across the 3 elementary schools on the October, when we do the October 1st enrollment report for October, we can get into more depth. But basically the nice part too is we kind of saw that trend early in the spring and early summer, and so we were able to adjust to that. And so by that is not filling 3 of those kindergarten sections that we anticipated having. So off the bat, that's approximately, if we put each teacher at about 70, 80,000, a year, somewhere between 210 and 240 ahead in teacher salaries. So we're starting off, I'd much rather be 210 up than 210 down already here in mid-September. But as we all kind of know, the roller coaster of the school year with special services and other varieties of things that come up, facilities and different things. It's kind of early to, I don't want to say overly celebrate, but it's a good start, and we feel pretty good about that with that. So with that, any questions about budget impact update?
Okay, next item on the agenda, what I'm going to ask for is if we can move item 9 up and switch it with item 8, so we can handle item 9 and then go right into the contract. Can I get a motion for that, please?
Motion to move item 9, consideration of Assistant Superintendent of Finance and Operations report, to item 8.
To make item 8 item 9.
And make item 8 item 9.
Yeah, that's a good motion. Can I get a second? Second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, consideration of the Assistant Superintendent of Finance and Operations report.
For sake of time, May was a pretty straightforward, kind of as we're continuing on. So I'll kind of focus on the June statement, where, we not only close out June, we close out the end of the fiscal year. As some of you might remember, Scott left me a very tall order, leaving 2024 year with a surplus of $2,697. So the challenge was accepted. As some of you may also remember, the state, in the middle of the legislative session, added $40 million to the state to help with excess costs because of the percentage that was there. And so that netted Farmington $309,211 extra dollars in there. But by time, and while we're greatly appreciative of it, we had kind of made some adjustments to the budget that necessary to kind of, to plan for that, and budgetary where we tend to be on the conservative side of where we put for excess costs, so we weren't as shocked as some other districts were. So we were in relatively good shape. So what we utilize is another statute that we have, which is creating a non-lapsing account. That means we can carry money over from one year to the next and put it right into the budget there, because typically any surplus money you have at the end of the year goes to the town side for however they choose to use it. This allows us to put, I believe it's up to 2% of our operating budget into a non-lapsing account where as the statute is, I would probably come before you for a Board of Ed meeting and saying, we're going to request, $25,000 for X. You would vote, decide, and then we would go ahead and do it. So we wouldn't be able to spend any of this $309,211 without your permission at a board meeting. And once again, this to help with any volatility, special services, capital, kind of capital type maintenance projects, surprise repairs or anything like that, how we anticipate kind of seeing that, and this could actually roll over from year to year. There's no expectation that it has to be used this year. So if you look at the June report, you're going to see, approximately a surplus of $311,000 in there. So we took the full amount of the 309,211, we put that into the non-lapsing account, which left us finishing the fiscal 24-25 year with a close of the year at $2,407. So that amount will get returned to the town as kind of what we would say we hadn't spent, but just that excess grant rolled over to the non-lapsing account. Any questions about end of year fiscal?
Okay, can I get a motion to approve the May 2025 financial statement?
Motion?
Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next, can I get a motion to approve the June 2025 end of year financial statement report?
Motion?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, next item up would be the new item 9 to former item 8 would be discussion of new business, and then obviously with executive session. Both of these items surround the FEA contract. I am recused from that deliberation. I will be stepping down from the board while you guys go over the contract. So, I'll leave it to Andrea.
All right, so,
Go to executive session.
We have to go to executive session.
It's after, keep
I
going.
thought it was the first one. It's the,
Right.
you just had it, yeah.
Yeah, that's it right there. Right.
Sorry,
So-
so she doesn't have everything up there. So I just want to go to the executive session page because it usually, are you sure there's not another one? No. Here it is. Okay, I knew it was in there. Thank you. Because you want to say the whole motion. So
On the bottom,
to
on-
adjourn the meeting to executive session, and then you say who's going to, you know what I mean?
Oh, the whole
Yeah.
thing?
Yeah.
Okay, so,
You move to adjourn the meeting
yeah, I move to adjourn the meeting to executive session as permitted by Connecticut General Statute, Section 1-225A, for the following purposes as allowed by Section 1-2006, that is discussion of a matter which would result in the disclosure of public records or the information contained therein described in subsection B of Section 1-201, that attendance in the executive session shall be limited to members of the Board of Education, Superintendent of Schools, Assistant Superintendent.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention?
Abstain.
Bill abstains? Okay. So I need a motion to move out of executive session back into regular session at 10:24.
Motion.
I need a second.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention? Motion carries. We're back in regular session. All right, so approval of the FEA contract for the years 2026 to 2027, 27-28, 28-29. I need a motion to approve the agreement between the Farmington Board of Education and the Farmington Education Association from the period of July 1st, 2026 through June 30th, 2029. The salary for 2026 below max is 1,000 plus step, at max 2,200. For the year 2027 through 2028, below max is $1,200 plus step, and max is $2,675. For the year 2028 through 2029, below max is $1,200 plus step, and max is $2,850. Working conditions, 3 additional hours, 6 total of in-service training outside the teacher workday is required. 3 of the 6 hours shall be given to complete online mandated training.
Motion. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. All right. So the last item on the agenda is adjournment. All right. Motion to adjourn?
Second. Motion. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstention? We're adjourned at 10:26.